Today I'm going to be talking about the wave. No, not that one. No, definitely not that. This is what I'm talking about. Chances are, even if you have a passing interest in landscape photography, you have seen this image. This image has been used for everything from, screensavers on televisions to desktop wallpaper. I'm sure there's probably some sad motivational posters in some lonely office somewhere. But in addition to being iconic, the wave is also such an unusual and unique place to go and photograph because the process of getting there is unlike anything else. I'm gonna share with you in this video today what that process is like, what you have to do in order to see the wave, what it's like actually being there, because I went and I photographed it a couple of years ago. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna share with you some final thoughts as to whether it's even worth the effort. What's up everyone, my name is Todd Dominey. I make videos here on YouTube about photography. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll probably notice that there's something new going on over my shoulder back here. I'm actually going through the process of redesigning this office / studio space that I have here. It's not quite finished yet. I'm still working on some things, and I'm going to be sharing more about this and other things in a future video. All right, so let's talk about the wave. Now, in case you don't know where the wave is located in northern Arizona, just across the border from the state of Utah. It's not a national park, it's not a state park. It's a region of raw, undeveloped, desolate land that is managed by the BLM, which stands for the Bureau of Land Management. In order to see the wave, you have to have a permit. And that permit is the Willy Wonka golden ticket of landscape photography.
Hey, you've got it! You've got the last golden ticket! The kids found the last golden ticket!
These permits are awarded through a lottery system managed by the Bureau of Land Management. Through that lottery, only 20 people per day are allowed to hike out and to see the wave. Now, 20 people may not sound like much, but when you think about it in the greater context, it actually makes a lot of sense. Because today, in the age of Instagram and people creating social media content and doing selfies and all of that, plus, honestly, landscape photographers as well who want to go out and photograph it, they have to place some limits on it because it is a fragile geological formation which has been created over millions of years of rain and wind. If they didn't place limits on it, tens of thousands of people would show up per day doing God knows what out there. Now, there are two ways to enter the lottery. The first is through an online website, which is the easiest and most convenient for most people, which is great because it means that anyone, anywhere in the world can participate in the lottery and have a chance of winning one of these golden tickets. Unfortunately, out of the 20 that are awarded per day, 10 are awarded through the online lottery, which not only lowers the odds of you getting one of these permits, but also the fact that there are literally thousands of people around the world every day applying for this permit through this online website, which just lowers the odds even more. The second way to enter the lottery and have a chance at winning one of those 10 remaining permits is to do it in person in the tiny little town of Kanab, Utah, the day before you want to go see the wave. Now, this is actually how I ended up winning a permit and being able to hike out and photograph the wave, was through the in-person lottery at the visitor center in town. Now, the odds of actually getting a permit in person are a lot better because then you're not competing against thousands of people. You're competing against maybe 100 people, 150 people, 200 people. And so when the time came for the lottery, everyone was ushered into this room, which looked a lot like a classroom. It had a bunch of seats and divided up into rows, and there was like a blackboard in the back or a whiteboard, if I remember. And pictures of the wave around and information about the lottery. Most of the people there were from outside of the United States, at least when I was there. And the thing that I remember most is the fact that there was one man who was there from Japan. The BLM representative said that this man from Japan had been there showing up every single day for 4 months. 4 months showing up every day trying to win one of these permits. And so they all knew each other on a first name basis at this point. He was just staying, I guess, in the town of Kanab just as long as it would take in order to get one of these permits, which I was fascinated by. I mean, I wish I had the guy's information so I could find out whether he actually made it or not. And then the time came to actually do the lottery. Now, when you enter the lottery, you're given a number, which corresponds to a bingo ball. They put all the bingo balls into a hopper, and then the guy turns the crank on the hopper.
All right, 22.
Oh, no.
All right, 22 is a group of 3. We have 5 remaining.
Now, I am telling you from sitting there and participating in this thing, you could feel the anxiety in the room just escalating to this just extreme heights. Like everyone was on edge. And the sound of those balls clanking around inside of that metal cage, and that rush of excitement, and everyone's holding their breath when it actually comes out and they read the number. Now, you'll notice in that rather poorly shot video clip that he referred to a group, how many people were in the group. The way the lottery works is that everyone individually is allowed to enter, but if you are part of a group, only one person from that group can enter, which makes it fair because then it makes your odds just as good as anyone else if you're an individual like me trying to win a permit compared to a group of 10 people. The only downside though is that if a person from that group wins one of those permits, they win a permit for everyone in the group. So there's kind of 2 waves, for lack of a better way of saying it. There's 2 waves of emotion here. There's first the emotion of oh, I didn't win, my number didn't come up. And then you have to brace for the group number. Everyone wants to know the group number, because the higher the group number, then the odds just keep getting lower because more and more permits are going out the door. So after, the lottery took just a few seconds and then it was over. So I left and I came back the next morning, tried again. Same thing happened, didn't win. Then on the 3rd morning, which was my second to last day in the area, I was actually thinking, I was like, why bother? I shouldn't even go and do this. It's just a hassle. I have to go and listen to them give the same speech again. I got to go through this whole process. I thought, well, I'm here. I should do it. So I went down to the visitor center again.
All right, you will have the option to pass if you're a group of more than 3. Number 37.
Woo! And this time, I won. I hung around after the lottery was over. They gave me a long talk about using the permit, how to attach the permit to my bag to make sure it was visible, all the precautions I needed to take to make sure that I brought enough water with me. Now, the hike to actually get to the wave is about, it's a 7-mile round trip. There's no markings. There's no designated path. I mean, they show you a recommended way to do it with a bunch of pictures and a paper brochure kind of a thing. So eventually I reached the wave. Now, when I got there and I walked into it, I had this weird kind of deja vu experience. And this has actually happened to me a few times in landscape photography. If you're into landscape photography, you've probably experienced the same, where you may have seen hundreds of images of something, and then you actually go and you see it in person, and it's familiar and yet at the same time entirely different, because now you are hearing the sounds of the place. You are feeling the sun on your face. You are feeling the energy of it and getting a read of it and feeling the pulse of it and experiencing it in a way which is far different and something that is far more unique and personal, I think, than just looking at a photo of it. So after a few hours, I decided, yeah, I've probably been here long enough. I've taken more than enough photos. It's about time to go. So I packed everything up and I started hiking back. Now, this next part of the story will likely answer a question that many of you watching this video probably have. And that is the question of whether you really need a permit. Do you really have to go through this whole process of entering a lottery and maybe getting one of those golden tickets in order to go and see the wave? Because the wave is out in the middle of nowhere, and there's not exactly someone standing there punching tickets and opening a door for you to go and see it. Well, here's what happened. When I started hiking back, I was probably about a mile into my return. And I happened to look over to my left, and there was a man that was about 100 feet away from me. He was, I don't know, somewhere probably around 60 years old, dressed very much in like Midwestern American kind of clothing, like he was wearing these like denim jeans out in the middle of the desert in the sun, which seemed kind of weird to me. So I said hi to him, and I asked how he was doing, and I asked if he was going to the wave, because I just came from there and I assumed that's where he was going. And he walked over to me and he said, yeah. He said, actually, I'm heading my way. He said, did you go to the wave? And I said, yeah. And we had this nice little conversation. He's like, oh, did you get some good photos? I'm like, yeah, I think. And we talked for a little bit about it. And then at that point, he said to me, he said, I need to see your permit. I'm actually with the Bureau of Land Management, and need to make sure that the people who are here are supposed to be here and all that. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, no problem. So I turned my backpack around, and you could see my permit is hanging there, and he checked my permit. And in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of the desert, someone pops up and actually asks for my ID and my permit and wanted to make sure that I had it. And I started talking to him. I said, by the way, I'm just curious to know, like, what happens if you don't have a permit? What happens is they get a ticket. Almost like being pulled over by a cop for speeding or something. They hand out tickets. And the fine, what he told me, was $5,000. Now, just let that sink in for a second. $5,000. I don't know about you, but I think that's a considerable amount of money. It could be even more than that now. So that brings us to the end of this rather long-winded story. I congratulate you for making it all the way to the end, but I had to share it in all its detail because it was such an interesting experience going out there. But there is one remaining question, and that's a question that I posed at the beginning of this video, and that question is it worth it? So I'll answer the question this way. That whole area around the wave, that whole area in northern Arizona, southern Utah, right along the border there, those desert landscapes, those badlands, those unique geological formations out in the middle of the desert, which look like alien landscapes. And it is absolutely one of my most favorite places I've ever been to do landscape photography. And I've been there a few times now, and I can imagine myself going back multiple times. In however much time I have left on this planet, because I just find it to be such a beautiful area and such an inspiring place to be doing landscape photography, that just going there, just going to that area and photographing it is in and of itself worth the effort. And if you have time and you participate in the lottery and your magic number comes up and you get the golden ticket and you can go, awesome. But at the same time, I think it's easily the kind of place that someone could see as, I have to go and photograph that. All they're interested in is the wave. They want to go, they want to do the lottery, and they just want to go and take a photo at the wave because they think they have to, because they need that iconic shot for their landscape photography portfolio. And if they don't have it, then it's incomplete or it's somehow unsuccessful. Well, in my opinion, just, from subjectively looking at the work that I've done and the photographs that I've taken around that area, in and around the wave, the photographs from the wave are not my favorites. My favorites are the ones that were shot in the areas around it, in other areas which aren't as recognizable. If you're interested in doing the wave, then go for it. I think it's an awesome experience. I think it's worth participating in, especially if you do it in person, because it is a unique experience unto itself. By the way, if you need more information about the Wave and you're interested in participating in the lottery, I will put links below in the description so you can check out more information about it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so and you would like to keep in touch and see more videos about photography in the future, then please remember to hit the subscribe button below as well. Thanks so much for being here. I will see you next week.